Hello. Hello. Connor here for another day of streaming. Um, and yes, sorry about the room, a bit messy. We were sorting books this morning. Too many unread books. We had to sort out which ones to read and which ones to not. But today we're talking about Societal Split, which the recording for this video took like an hour and a half, which it shouldn't. It shouldn't take that long. And even after an hour and a half, it was kind of we rambled and we didn't do the recording to the best of our abilities, I don't think. It was probably recorded 2 days ago and our brain just wasn't with it that day. Yes, we could have recorded it again, but I still think we got valuable information in it, maybe. But we'd rather just get it out of the way, and because our aim is to catch up with our current blogs so that we can have one sufficient motion that all flows together instead of jumping between past and present. So today we've only got an hour, by the way. It's very late this morning, got a bit distracted. Ended up going to bed like 1 o'clock last night as well because of the heat. Hello, Mr. Zupane, if that's you, Mr. Zupane. Yeah, we were sweating bricks last night at like 1 in the morning because it was like 30 degrees and we don't have aircon, so it was very hard to sleep last night. So we woke up a bit later as well. What distracted me? All my books, mate. Whoa, and my desk is falling apart. I think this desk is breaking. It's gonna collapse soon enough. Yeah, all my books. You can see these are my unread books, or the books I need to read again. And I realized like there are so many books. I just keep buying more books, but I don't even finish the ones that I've got. So I sorted them into piles this morning. We've got top tier books, which we need to read, which are the first on the reading list. Your room is too cold. Oh, we have the opposite problems, eh? Too hot, too cold. Tough stuff. Yeah, we got top tier books, which we're keen to read. These four. Yeah, we got Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, Philosophy 101. We've got some Alan Watts. This one, I think we're reading this one next for to figure out social anxiety for people. It's helpful. Got this one, The Mindful Path, combining psychotherapy and Buddhism, which is interesting. We're very keen for. And then we've got to reread Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching. Because when I first read this book was probably a couple of years ago, and I did not understand a word of it. Look, it's golden pages and everything. Sick ass. So yeah, these are top tier books which we'll be reading ASAP. And we got the second books, which are also really good books, but we just want to read those ones first. Then we got the Book of Five Rings, which I don't know if you know it. It's Miyamoto Musashi, you've probably heard him. So he wrote this book based on his philosophy. I've read it twice before, really good. It's good for martial arts, but it's also good for philosophy. And then yeah, we got all sorts of books, all sorts of learnings. Got Sigmund Freud, Seneca, Friedrich Nietzsche. Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot of books. That looks fancy. That's it. Maybe we can have some book sharing vids. Some people really enjoy them, including me. Okay, like reading a book and then sharing our thoughts on the book. Is that what you're referring to? That would be interesting. And we definitely could do that. Because we kind of share our thoughts on books sometimes in meditations. But what if we were just to grab a book and be like, this book? It can be like a new dimension to ponder knowledge. Yeah, that's actually a good as idea. Talk about books and like what they bring out and what they tell us. 20 books I read last month. You're gonna read 20 books in a month? Holy. No, how about per book I finish? I can usually finish like, I only read an hour a day at the moment. We kinda wanna pump it up to 2 hours. Okay. But what about per book we finish? Holy. Settle down, Jesus. Chill out. Imagine it being that windy, but it's still overheating. Still. Oh my god. So I have to keep them open so I don't get too hot. If they're open, then the blinds are just gonna get messed up. Whoa, now it's dark. Here we are. Okay, we have two ideas for the book theory. One of them is finish books, finish a whole book, record video on what we like and like just about the book in general. Second idea is to after each chapter read in a book to record small segments, and then once book is complete, combine all segments of each chapter, and then you got an overall depiction of the book and each chapter in it and what it represents. These are just thoughts, what we could do if we wanted to do it. Be interesting because you do learn more from recapping books rather than just reading it. Yeah, you can see this is a 40-minute recording as well. It was Struggle Street. It was Struggle Street, that's for sure. And it's dark as. Not our Predators video, I don't think. But let's just make it and see what information we can get out of it. Because sometimes I think we make like bad meditation videos, but then there's actually good information in them. So it's like, oh, okay. Not the worst in the world. It's 36 Celsius degrees in Brisbane. It's gonna be scorching. Yeah. Don't want to think about it. We had 38 degrees yesterday. And I participated in this game of Red Rover. Just for fun. And yeah, after a few rounds I almost threw up. I was like nauseous and like just uncomfortable. It was not enjoyable. And then I Ubered home because I didn't feel like walking anymore. Societal splits. So this is after recording. You can already see my eyebrows are slightly inwards, angry looking. This is after pretty much an hour of trying to get this video recorded. I'm like, bro. Societal splits. Please, just give me freedom. And I was meant to stream this day, but I didn't because I spent so long recording. You have a fan. You can switch on your fan and take off a few clothings. Yes. That's what we usually do. But we can't take off a few clothings during a stream. That would not be appropriate. That would not be stream. Societal splits. Societal. Yeah, but we probably won't wear like a thick shirt like this. This shirt's really thick. That's why we wear the singlets sometimes. Societal splits. Societal. So there's going to be a lot of RAM. Yeah, 37 minutes. It's not going to be this long. There's a lot that needs to be cut out. And it won't be complete today. But there's a lot of ramble. So essentially we got to watch all of it cut and shape. Cut and shape. And then figure out what to keep. Societal splits. Societal split speaks of different demographics bashing or belittling people or each other in a sense. Societal split is speaking of how, yes, kind of like how you can see how much we struggle just in these ones. It's like we just can't think straight. This was all day yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, it's just the day before. Bashing or belittling people, or each other in a sense. Societal split is speaking of how demographics, race, gender, age. Yeah, this one mean our brain just wasn't working. Employment. How these demographics can, or how people within these demographics can identify with a demographic and end up. Well, I'm not happy. I am happy. I'm not happy with this recording. But that's a choice. How about we just decide we choose to be happy with it, and we'll just make whatever we can with our other demographics, causing a societal split as this demographic fights back, and then further societal split. Today we will speak about how this happens, and or I could just re-record people as people rather than something to belittle, look down upon, to bolster one's own sense of. Could film clips by clips, and organize them together later. May help and be less stressful. Like record section at a time. That could work, honestly. If we record paragraph and recap of paragraph, that could be better. That could be a lot better. So say paragraph, and then recap a paragraph, and then stop recording, and then paragraph, recap paragraph, stop recording, paragraph, recap. Yeah, that could work. So, all one's own demographic. So here we go. Societal split speaks of different demographics bashing or belittling people each other in a sense. Each other in a sense. Maybe we'll keep that. Societal split is speaking of how demographics, race, demographics, race, is where we have to test our editing skills, make them perfect to the point. All the ramble, all the nonsense is not noticed, and only key pieces of information are obtained. This will be a test of editing. This is the other, in a sense. Demographics, race, gender, age, employment. How these demographics can... But yes, it will take a while to... Or how people within these demographics can identify with a demographic and end up abusing or belittling other demographics, causing a societal split as this demographic fights back, and then further societal split. Today we will speak about how this happens, Perfectionism is not encouraged. What is encouraged, Zipeng? Just to be oneself and do exactly as one does. What is that? Is that a cat in the box? Cat in the box? How maybe we can treat people as people rather than something to belittle, look down upon, to bolster one's own sense of self or one's own demographic. Yeah, so essentially societal split is talking about how demographics bash one another. That's essentially the topic. And it starts with individual self. It stems to ego and group identities a lot. Because what starts as ego is, say, me, I'm a guy, or like identify as a guy, and this. I'm looking for a role model, and there's another guy, and maybe I've been hurt by a girl, and this guy that says that all girls suck, and he's got a following, so then I join this following, and I follow his knowledge. He's like, yeah, all women suck, and then we form a group identity. We have a group identity where the better demographic, because all women suck and men are amazing. And then it bolsters one's sense of self, because they are belittling others to make themselves feel better about themselves, and the groups are belittling others to make the group feel superior to others. It's seen a lot in the world. You can look at masculinity and feminism at the extremes. People who have the largest followings are those people that are bashing other demographics. And because they're belittling and putting down other demographics, they're bolstering their own, and that causes other people to follow them, other people of the same demographic to follow, because this person's boosting everyone else's sense of self within that group identity. Yet the way they're doing it is just selfish and abusive, really. Bullying. So I think a lot of people get mixed up between what is right and wrong. I mean, obviously, but more so like what is morally appropriate and what is just selfish regard for oneself and like your own image. I don't know. Definitely probably could put that better, but you know. Demographics, race, gender, age, employment. YouTube share says it's chill cat. Literally how it's written. Chill W cat. Happy days. Well, nothing like a good chill cat. That's what we all know and love. Age. No, Shawnee informed us that his work profile picture for when he joins like meetings and stuff is the chill guy emoji. So just a chill guy popping into work meetings and everything. Gender, age, employment. How these demographics can so we're just going to cut it so succinctly, not perfectionism, but we're just going to cut it to the extent where things actually make sense and it's not a bunch of rambling and stuttering, which was an immense part of this recording. These demographics can and hopefully we get it down to a lesser time. Or how people within these demographics can identify with a demographic and end up abusing or belittling other demographics, causing a societal split as this demographic fights back, and then further societal split. Today we will speak about how this happens, or how people within these demographics can identify with a demographic and end up I just on Uber Eats today, some chocolate chicken. What do you think, Zupang? Chocolate chicken? But for some reason I sense you are happier than you were yesterday. Really? Can you sense it? Are you that intuitive? Intuitive Zupang. That philosophy mind can pick up auras. What was yesterday? Yeah, we were pretty happy yesterday until we had to join the call with Sean. Then we were pissed off. We don't want to chat with Sean. But we're pretty happy. It was a productive day. And it was fun to just talk about the meditations. Instead of rushing through and getting a video out in an hour, we took like a few hours. But we just talked about and elaborated on each topic or each thing we're talking about. Which I think I personally really enjoyed. It was just fun to like delve deeper. It's like you talk about your meditations after you meditate, and then a couple days later you elaborate on the meditation which you elaborated on after the meditation. I don't know, it's strange, but it was fun. And I guess it gives the full picture as to what was going on. But that was enjoyable. Yeah, that's you. You're the intuitive Zupang. You can pick up emotions and auras from across the universe. Very impressive, Mr. Zupang. They call that the lover energy. That's what I just read in a book. The lover energy is the one that can is truly intuitive with everything and can empathize with anything, but also sees before and admires everything that is before us. But the problem with, or not the problem with that energy, but if you can't control the energy, then sometimes you can fall into emotions of others and allow it, and then you're not really in control of the emotions yourself. And you become part of the emotional roller coaster of all the things around you, because you can see it so much, but you fall into it. So you got to be able to see it and not fall into it, or fall into it but in positive ways. It's a big problem with psychologists as well, and probably therapists and like counselors and therapists in general. They get like secondhand trauma or secondhand what's it called? Get the term for it. Something trauma. But essentially, if they are constantly dealing with other people's emotions and other people's traumas and other people's energies, which are usually taking a darker turn in their current situation, then they can start to absorb that energy themselves and be put into a depressive state themselves, or fall into the emotions that other people give off, or the energies that other people give off. So as a psychologist, you really gotta figure out a way to see and understand and empathize without conforming to the energy which people give off. Especially if you're dealing with clients, or like speaking with clients 8 hours a day, which some psychologists may do, then it's like you got to be pretty adept to controlling your own mind and the energies, and like keeping evading energies out and stuff. I don't know. I have to talk to someone more about that to fully understand it, but just know if you're dealing with certain energies too much, then sometimes you can start to conform to those energies. Sean talks to me about it as well, because he's doing complaints. He's in complaints for a call center, and he says some days he just feels angry because he's just getting like all these people complaining and going off at him and angry at him. So then he starts to fall into that emotion as well sometimes. That's kind of me as well. So I start to not blaming myself to feel better. You as well, in what sense? Is that the intuitive sense, or the falling into other people's emotions sense? Start not blaming myself to feel better. Is that like if one of your friends is having a poor day, or having a bad day, or not up to standard that you're used to seeing them in? Do you think you can start blaming yourself? Or thinking that you should be doing more towards them to make them feel better, stuff like that? Or you find you fall into their emotions as well? Found that in a relationship, actually. Being in a relationship where your partner like wasn't happy with something, and you start to blame yourself because you feel like it should be your responsibility to make them happy about something. It's like, yeah, tough gig. Especially when they're always choosing something not to be happy about. That's why you gotta be a chill guy, happy about everything. Then there's no complaints. Abusing or belittling other demographics, causing a societal... Yeah, empathy can be a tough one. really, empathy certainly would take a lot of intelligence, or a lot of emotional intelligence, given the sense that empathy stems from being able to see from another person's perspective, including understanding the emotions which underlie that, and sometimes being able to feel it within yourself, even though it's within another human. Gaining perspective and feeling and thought around it, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. But putting yourself in someone else's shoes, obviously you're opening yourself up to feel their emotions and their torment as well. Yeah, to be a chill guy is one of our fundamental goals. That's the highest goal we can obtain, Zupain. To be truly just a chill guy. Where's Shawnee? Something's not smelling too nice. It smells kind of like sewage. Sewage. I hope it's not our bathroom. Maybe someone just did a cracker next door, who knows, but I'm hoping it goes away in a second. What Shawnee does is quite not healthy though, being exposed to tons of complaints. Yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, I'm sure Shawnee would actually love to talk to you about that, or talk to us about it, because he probably has a lot to share in that regard. But yeah, being exposed to complaints constantly, that would, especially say you don't get as much sleep one night and you're more prone to fall into certain emotions. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not taking care of your mental, you're more prone to be absorbed by surrounding energies. So, the surrounding personas. So yeah, if he's dealing with complaints constantly, then on some days he's definitely going to fall into that state of mind himself, especially on the days where he's not up to standard. But other days he uses some philosophy, he uses some things that we discuss, about just being, acceptance and all of that sort of stuff, and then you can avoid or overcome the burdens of empathizing with other people. I wouldn't call empathy a burden. I'd say it can be a burden if you don't have the mental stability to handle it yourself. And this can be on any given day. Is punch knowledge comes in handy. It's not like you don't have the mental capacity to not be able to handle empathizing with others. It's stating that like sometimes you do, maybe most of the time you do, but you got to watch out for the times where, like, say you're in like 4 hours sleep, or something else is happening in your life, some hardship, and your energy is already drained, and then you're still empathizing with others, then that's when you can become overwhelmed with it and not have the mental stability to control it. So yeah, empathy is amazing, and it does require quite extreme intelligence and perspective. But yeah, you gotta understand when to do it, when to not, how to handle it, perspectives through it and around it. Yeah, and not to get too attached to the emotions you feel while empathizing. Understand it, but don't. Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Connor? What's your case? When it comes to falling into empathizing with others, I'd say I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'd say when it comes to empathizing with others, you can certainly gifted in the sense that I'd say I've got emotional intelligence. Given people can tell me about something, about, I don't know, struggling their life or something, and then we attempt to ask and grasp their perspective completely, so what happened, their thoughts, their feelings, everything involved with that situation, and then we're able to place ourselves in their shoes and see it from their perspective. And that's a form of empathy, and that's a form of the person before you being the professional rather than me being the professional, because only the individual understands their situation, how they were feeling in that situation, their thoughts in that situation, everything which encompasses that situation. So if someone tells me this happened and I'm like instantly like, oh, do this, it's like maybe their thoughts, change the outlook on this happening. So you got to understand the thoughts as well, and you got to empathize with that and truly understand a situation from their perspective, not your own. So that's empathizing. Too many complaints can get influenced by it. Then you said something like, I was like that too. I've always been pretty cautious of I wish I just had the word for it. Empathy. Trauma. I think it's called something like what's it called? Yeah, I've always been careful when it comes to that, just because I was taught about it early, so I understand it. I think when you have understanding, when you see understanding things helps to not fall into things. Not always, but as we say, the first step to overcoming a problem is to recognize the I don't think sympathy. It's something that I should know. I actually put some helping. This will show it, vicarious trauma. There it is. I actually put some effort in and Google the actual definition. The process of change resulting from empathetic engagement with trauma survivors. Anyone who engages empathetically with survivors of traumatic incidents, torture, and material relating to their trauma is potentially affected, including doctors and other health professionals. By hearing real life accounts of their clients' trauma. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've fallen into vicarious trauma. I'd say I'm fascinated and interested in people's deeper depictions of the world and experiences they've had within it. To the point, I can sympathize and empathize, but it's a fascination in understanding it and the extents of the world as well. I don't know. But I haven't had much experience, to be fair. It's probably some crazy stuff people have heard. But I'd say I have experienced, I guess, not vicarious trauma, but like similar, related to falling into energies. But that was more so in my relationship. So my partner could be upset, and I would allow my feelings to be determined by how they're feeling. At times, this is towards the end, not always. I was a lot more stable to begin with, but towards the deterioration of the relationship, as you've heard before, we became a bit unstable. Not in a bad sense, just in an emotional sense. Just in like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where did this come from, sort of thing. And that's where you allow yourself to become vulnerable and open yourself up to falling into different energies which aren't your own. So yeah, I guess we have done it in that sense. But these days we're more stable with it. I don't think I've ever had someone come to me with a problem and I've found their problem to be so confronting that it impacts me, like it negatively impacts me. Like there's been confronting problems, like real deep confronting problems, but yeah, I haven't had any vicarious trauma result from that, which is nice. More so a helping mindset. You just want to help them, understand it from their perspective and help them. Using or belittling other demographics, causing a societal split as this demographic fights back, and then further societal split. Today we will speak about how this happens, and then further societal split. Today we will speak about Today we will speak about how this happens and how maybe we can treat people as people rather than something to belittle, look down upon to bolster one's own sense of self or one's own demographic. So, here we go. Society. Yeah. I might order some food. Yes, we're meant to stop ordering Uber Eats. Did we inform you that we spent like almost 2K on Uber Eats in like a couple months? So we've vastly limited our Uber Eats use. But But today we have to get Uber Eats. Why? Because we're out of bacon. We're out of bacon in the fridge. So there's really no other option. Because what would we be having? Maybe like scrambled eggs or something? That's not fun. We want bacon and eggs. It's a good excuse, isn't it? So what do we get? Maybe I don't order Uber Eats. Maybe we do make bacon and eggs. Indecision. And how maybe we can treat people as people rather than something to belittle, look down upon, look back and look belittle, look Is that perfectionism, getting rid of little errors? To belittle and look down upon, to bolster one's own sense of self, or one's own demographic. Societal split. Societal split speaks of the ever-increasing divide between people and groups within society. This concept displays its The problem as well is the being upstairs, there's a lot of cars that go past and it's very loud while recording a video. We had like trucks go past and everything, it's fun in society. This concept displays itself in race, employment, homophobia, and the focus of today being the growing divide between men and women. Masculinity. You just need to get rid of these little stutters. Those ones. Did you enjoy watching Path of Exiles yesterday? For some reason these days it is more preferable to work on stream than it is to play games on stream. Masculinity and feminism at the extremes make most of their following through bad. The older vids seem to have a quieter environment. The ones that were downstairs, the downstairs ones, bashing of the opposite gender. Men belittle women. Yeah, I think people are here now. I'm gonna close the door. Yeah, we might actually move downstairs again soon, all honesty. We moved upstairs because my grandpa has dementia and his wife passed away, as you know. So there was a possibility of him moving downstairs for a little bit so that we can look after him. But we're not too sure if that will be going through because now he's got carers looking after him, which is nice. So maybe we can move back downstairs again and get that nice. It was a much better environment, 100% being downstairs. It was very nice down there. The room's lovely, but yeah, a lot of noise, a lot of internet problems. Very hot in this room, very hot and compact. And yeah, you don't really want your bedroom in the background of all your YouTube videos. It's not very psychological, is it? But that's this day and age, you can't complain too much. You just gotta flow with what you got. Masculinity and feminism at the extremes make most of their following through bashing of the opposite gender. Opposite gender. Men belittle women, and women denigrate men. That seems to be the aim of the game, and everyone cheers them on like they're providing a just cause for society, rather than just causing further societal split. Nice. The focus of today being is I don't even want to edit this part. This part's, I swear I'm rambling for like 10 minutes straight. I don't even know what I'm talking about by the end of it. I do, but it wasn't the time to ramble. What do we get? Half chicken and chips? Could be pretty good. Could be pretty good. Why do I want to eat Uber Eats so bad? Why? Why is he paying? Why are these chicken salt chippies just on the tip of the tongue? We could just eat scrambled eggs. Yeah. You prefer the gaming, Z-Pain? Prefer the gaming over the psychology, hey? Prefer the retard channel, the gaming channel. The focus of today being an easy focus for societal split is the difference between men and women. And how both of these groups can tend to, you get the unedited attack stuff and you can just see the blankness in it and belittle the other. It's never been this bad. I don't think I've ever recorded a video and had quite a lot, this much struggle. And then, no. Yeah. Yeah, he certainly went, Grandpa, he certainly went through it. I think him and Grandma, they were together for like 64 years or something. 64 years. Insane. So yeah, it hit Grandpa pretty rough. But he's okay. We'll probably see him tomorrow. We won't have an all-day stream tomorrow, I don't think. We'll try and stream. But yeah, I'll probably be going down to see Grandpa at some stage. Possibly. We'll see. See what happens. The following that people gain from them. And then the following that people gain from them. Both content. I like both content. Oh, you like both content? I mean, it's gonna do it. Yeah. As long as you're in a present mindset. I've whispered something. I don't even know. I've probably whispered a few things throughout this video because I'm pissed off. The focus of today, look at that, we just reset the whole thing. Bang. That means we can get rid of all of this. Bang. Better. Societal split. The focus of today being the societal split between men and women, as this is an easy example to see how people identify with or conform to the wrong beliefs based on their depicted sense of self or group identities, and how this depiction of self and this conformity to self and others within the group, or others leading the group, can cause the denigration or belittling of other groups, and then how this causes groups within the group, or others leading the group, can cause the denigration or belittling of other groups, and then how this causes groups to fight amongst each other, or groups to fight between each other, causing societal split. Women hating men, men hating women. Useless. but we do it anyway. Why? Because it bolsters our sense of self, which we will get into further. Sure, we can edit that out to make sense, to make some good sharp sense. The gaming and ponder knowledge. Hell yeah. That's what we're after. Gaming and ponder knowledge. What's going on? What's going on? The Australian culture, mate. Australian culture. Also, time to hoon. You know what hooning is? It is also... You also need to recognize when you are participating in your own beliefs and when you are participating in another's. This is a large thing when it comes to masculinity and feminism, is people think, oh, men are male, masculine, they follow this masculine stereotype, which is like, fuck all women, they belong in the kitchen and stuff like that. And then they develop these and conform to these beliefs themselves. Same with women. Women can look up to and idolize people that completely denigrate the opposite gender, completely denigrate men. Can be like, this can go for race and everything. This can go into racism and employment and homophobia. It can go towards everything, really. Perceiving oneself as something and conforming to a group, and then seeing others as different and putting them down to bolster their own group. When in reality, you two, one from this group, one from this two, could have easily switched places if your births were different, if your upbringing was different. So, retarded. That's when people become too self-centered. They start bashing others for innate things they were born with. It's kind of strange, honestly. I only know Fast and Furious. I've never watched any of the series. Yeah, well, hooning, the people which hoon around these neighborhoods, they usually think they're part of Fast and Furious. They think they're in one of the action scenes, going full flight, drifting around corners and everything, doing donuts in their Holdens, because Australians love their Holdens. Useless, stupid, all sorts of stuff. The opposite gender, completely denigrate men, can be like, yeah, they're all useless, stupid, all sorts of stuff. And this person, which just because this other person's female and this person's female, they may have had like one similar experience. It's like, here's what we're talking about with the ramble. We do ramble a lot. We're kind of form this whole perception just to bolster. It's kind of like we're in a meditations and we're just yapping away their group identity, their sense of self, which at the end of the day is just hurting other people. And if you're conforming to these hateful thoughts, which you haven't even figured out yourself, you're doing something wrong. I can't add that. I can't tell people they're doing something wrong. And we have... It's not easy at all though. What's not easy? We have to identify when we are following or pedestaling these unnecessary beliefs and learn how to diminish them and see people as people. Stop splitting society so much. So you got misogyny and misandry. Misogyny being the hate or demeaning. Yeah, you reckon it's a bit of a tough one, bit of a deep topic? I'm gonna order half chicken and chips. Wait, there's a lot of deals. I really want to have chicken and chips. Yeah. This one says spend $30, save $10. Which is technically better than the other deals, but we don't feel like it. I love chicken. Chicken! Chicken's good. Yeah, we'll get this today. And then that gives us a bit more time on Ponder Knowledge because we'll wait till the food gets here and then we'll get off props. Yay! More time with Zipang. Yeah. I only drink water and milk, but I would be addicted to chips and possibly fries. So you got to restrict yourself. Wow, you're in control, man. You understand the addictive nature of chicken salt chippies, so you don't fall into that. Very well done. The focus of today being 12:15, about half an hour, and then the chippies will be here. Now let's just make this section make sense and make it flow. Today being the societal split between men and women, as this is an easy example to see how people identify with or conform to. Maybe it won't be that bad of a video at the end of the day. Maybe we just thought we were rambling so much that none of it made sense. But maybe with a bit of effort, everything will make sense. Have you picked up anything so far, Mr. Zipang? Has anything been educational? Or been more realizations, or I don't know. Chips are so good and it's toxic relationship between me and them. A toxic relationship, it's horrible. Poor chippies. Poor Zipang. Not toxic relationship. Or conform to the wrong beliefs based on their depicted sense of self, based on beliefs based on their depicted sense of self or self group identities, and how self group self or self group identities. So I would usually get rid of that, but for perfectionism, let's keep everything. Let's keep as much of it as we can. Self or self group identities. It's a split in the manacles put on masculinity and femininity. Yeah, we also delve into how it can start, because like obviously men hurt women and women hurt men in relationships and stuff, so that can easily take a turn for the worst as well. When someone's been hurt by the opposite gender, and then multiple people have been hurt by the opposite gender, then they can easily form groups that lash out against the opposite gender. There's a lot to it. But essentially the message of this is just saying like, hey, let's stop mistreating each other and group identities, and how look out for each other a little bit more, treat people as people a little bit more. Understand not everyone is the same as this depiction or assumption you place on them based on their gender or their race or stuff like that. How long does the food delivery take? It will be here when this equal hits 1:15, 25 minutes. This depiction of self and this conformity to self and others within the group, or others leading the group, equity and equality are hard to achieve there. Yeah, not with ego in the way. Not with everyone's identities on the line. Others within the group, or others leading the group, can cause the denigration or belittling of other groups, and then how this causes groups to fight amongst each other, or groups to fight between each other, causing societal split, women hating men, and then how this causes groups to fight amongst each other, or groups to fight between each other, causing self and others within the group, or others leading the group, can cause the denigration or belittling of other groups, and then how this causes groups to fight between each other, causing societal split, women hating men, men hating women. Useless. But we do it anyway. Why? Because it bolsters our sense of self, which we will get into further. Maybe I don't need that part. It is also I see no colour nor gender, said by some politicians. You know, yeah, from the right perspective, that's good. I kind of held that. I was kind of like, yeah, like what people are saying and stuff. But then my university called me racist. Well, I guess I didn't hold any of that. I just didn't really think too deeply on that. Like just equality for all, I guess, is the perspective. Like you just treat everyone as people, because everyone are people. So you just treat them all the same, with presents and stuff. But at my university, they were like, we were made to write like, we were made to write assignments on Indigenous and all of that, which we have to do a lot here to like understand the background of Australia and like what happened and why we are bad people because we invaded the land of the Indigenous and raped and pillaged and stuff like that. But yeah, and then they were saying like, oh, if you say you don't see colour, or if you say like, oh, now it's getting here at 12:25. That's an extra 10 minutes. Oops. Yeah, they're saying that if you like claim to not see color, or you claim to like you like don't look at racism and you don't like pay attention to it and stuff, then you're a racist yourself. That's what they're saying. I was like, bro, like just fuck off, really. That was my thoughts. Fuck off. Calling me a racist because I decide not to judge people or see people for their colour. But yeah, essentially we had to write an assignment on how we're racist if we don't see colour. I don't know, autism overwhelms me sometimes. 100% everyone is a bit, I won't say 100%, but I understand there's underlying themes, underlying beliefs, and biases which may be innate within us. And maybe not understanding colour, not seeing colour, is not paying attention to like cultural differences between one person and another. Meaning you treat everyone the same, but you shouldn't be treating everyone the same. But at the same time, I don't know, I like treating everyone the same. If I understand one culture, like I'm pretty sure our indigenous aren't like very big on eye contact. So if we understand that culture, then maybe identifying that is what it means by you can't just ignore everything. Like, you gotta understand the cultures, you know. You can't treat everyone the same. And when you understand that, then you know, hey, maybe eye contact is not what you're after. Maybe they find it a bit disrespectful when you try and make constant eye contact with them, and well, not disrespectful, maybe they're just uncomfortable with that. Yeah, Aboriginals, because every culture is different. So maybe that's what it was talking about, how you got to see cross-culturally and understand each culture so that you may accommodate them appropriately. But it is very hard in Australia, our indigenous communities and our, colonisation communities, it's not doing too well, I would say. There's a lot of racism and a lot of intergenerational trauma. Essentially 200, 300 years ago, whatever, however, it wasn't that long ago, we colonised Australia and we had guns, Aborigines didn't, and yeah, it was brutal, and we certainly mistreated people. And then we tried to integrate. At the start, we were killing most of the Aboriginals. Then later on, we tried to integrate them. So instead of killing them, there was like, I guess not an alliance, but like a ceasefire in a sense. But instead of, this is by the time the white people, the British, whatever, had pretty much taken control of parts of Australia, and then they tried to completely eradicate Aboriginal culture by integrating like cross-sex marriages and like upbringings. But like, if Aboriginals were to be with white people, then you could over time integrate the whole culture into white culture, and yeah, babies could be brought up with white culture, essentially eliminating the culture and fully integrating Aboriginals into white British culture. So yeah, that was kind of a quick rundown. But yeah, these days there's intergenerational trauma because British culture messed them up pretty bad back in the day. Families took children away from families and all sorts of stuff, rape, whatever, shootings, massacres. So yeah, that's not ideal. So now there's intergenerational trauma, which is like, because grandparents are so fucked up, they can't deal with their emotions and their regulations properly. So then their children get fucked up, and then their children get fucked up, and there's a lot of addiction, and a lot of addiction. And then due to this addiction and due to these attitudes and due to the constant blame towards the British or the white people, the colonizers, then, and due to the addictions which the Aboriginals indulge in and that we see on the streets sometimes and stuff, then the racism expands, and it's just, people disliking each other more and more. Interesting. It's quite similar. My elective last year was American literature and identity. Talked a lot about similar topics: immigrants, indigenous, assimilation. Yeah, assimilation, that's the term for it, isn't it? It is interesting when you do look at it. You kind of get an understanding of how it all began. But yes, fun. Of other groups, and then how this within the group or others leading the group can cause the denigration or belittle self group identities, and how this depiction of self and this conformity to self and others within the group or others leading the group can cause the denigration or belittling of other groups, and then how this causes groups to fight amongst each other or groups to fight between each other, causing societal split. Audience being a distraction from editing. Yeah, essentially. But it's better to have conversations and to talk about things than to smash a video. It's more fun, and you probably learn more, and it's engaging, and it's fun. It's good to chat away. We've gotten a couple minutes done, that's all that matters. We're aiming to finish it tomorrow. It's been an hour on stream and we've gotten 2 minutes of a video done. Beautiful work. Groups to fight between each other, causing societal split. Women hating men, men hating women. Useless. But we do it anyway. Why? Because it bolsters our sense of self. Yeah. Let's see what we see here. Our sense of self. It is also, you also need to recognize when you are participating in your own beliefs and when you are participating. Figure out thoughts for yourself. Oh, we were talking about entropy this morning. Do you know much about entropy? Entropy, how everything you are participating in your own beliefs and when you are participating in another's. This is a large thing when it comes to entropy being solid ice cube, condensed, low entropy object, gas cloud, evaporation, high entropy. Yeah. Is how everything divulges to chaos, meaning everything, all particles, atoms, energy is trying to formulate into high entropy, which means body, living being, me, you, low entropy because we are condensed and we are controlled, and the atoms and stuff within us are solid and formulate to form something. And the energy is controlled. But when we're decaying in the ground and when we're a corpse, we are increasing in entropy, increasing in chaos as our atoms, particles and everything is becoming more spread out and more wild and chaosy. But everything in this world devolves to high entropy chaos, including still bar. We said it in the meditation, we use the same example. Still bar, low entropy. Still bar over time becoming rusty, old, deteriorating to dust. The energy in this still bar, the atoms, the molecules which make it up, are the same as the molecules that formulate in the dust, the rust and the rubble at the end of its lifespan. But it's just higher in entropy, meaning it's more spread out and less controlled. Anyway, we don't know why we had to tell you about it and others. It was interesting. It follows the concept of impermanence. Who knows what it means? I saw this word in Chinese a few times before, no more than 5, and I still don't know how to read that word in Chinese. You don't need to, you just need to understand the concept. Masculinity and feminism is thing when it comes to masculinity and feminism is people think, oh, men are male, masculine, they follow this masculine stereotype. Is it good to say what we're currently saying in this video? Stereotype, which is like fuck all women. Should we be saying that? Fuck all women. In a topic video, in an educational video. So this masculine stereotype, which is like fuck all women, they belong in the kitchen and stuff like that, and then they develop these and conform to these beliefs themselves. Same with women. Women can Is that bad? I also say men are apes and they don't have a brain and they can't think for themselves. Is that bad? Yeah, I mean, this is what we said. They follow this masculine stereotype. We'll go from here, so we can understand. When you are participating in your own beliefs, we'll see if it's good or not. And when you are participating in another's, this is a large thing when it comes to masculinity and feminism, is people think, oh, men are male, masculine, they follow this masculine stereotype, which is like fuck all women, they belong in the kitchen and stuff like that, and then they develop these and conform to these beliefs themselves. Same with women. Women can look up to and idolize people that will completely denigrate the opposite gender, completely denigrate men, can be like, yeah, they're all useless, stupid, all sorts of stuff. And this person, which just because this other person's female and this person's female, they may have had like one similar experience, it's like they form this whole perception just to bolster their group identity, their sense of self. which at the end of the day is just hurting other people. And if you're conforming to these hateful thoughts, which you haven't even figured out yourself, later on it delves into how these beliefs people form, they attach it to all idol of the demographic, which is a problem because no two people are the same. So how can you depict a billion people being the same, or each person you interact with as the same as the last one? It's like, I saw a guy on Insta Reels today and he kind of looked like you if you are a young dad. A young dad. Oh, happy days. Look even better, mate. Wonderful news. Do we have more knowledge as well? That's the main goal. No, it's not really a goal to have more knowledge than others. Look up to an idol. Would you rather be the smartest or the best looking in the world, Zupang? That completely denigrate the opposite gender. I feel like being the smartest in the world would be a tough gig. It'd be awesome, but you'd be fucked at the same time. The luckiest. Oh, well, that's a good one. Imagine being the luckiest. That'd be sick ass. You don't need to worry about anything, you're just lucky ass. Okay. That's a good choice. Women can look up to and idolize people. Seeing all the dum-dums. Seeing all the dum-dums around the world. Yeah, I think people say intelligence is kind of a burden in a sense. By what I've heard. I'm sure if you're the most intelligent, then you wouldn't be dumb enough to see your intelligence as a burden. Thoughts? Thoughts to think about? If you're smart, then how are you gonna feel shit for being the smartest? Because you're meant to be smart enough to not feel like shit for being the smartest. You see? Smart people shouldn't feel like shit because they're smart. No, that's a different type of smart, isn't it? I'm sure many intelligent people feel like shit, or have some depressive nature. But I feel like if you are the smartest in the world, like smart in each and every domain, then you're not gonna feel bad, because if you're smart enough, then you shouldn't feel like bad. You shouldn't feel bad at all, because you're smart enough to understand that feeling bad is a stupid decision, and it's caused by oneself. If you're causing it to oneself, then you're obviously not the smartest, are you? I think we worked it out, Zupang. That's what contemplative thought does. So the smartest and the happiest, that's what we're gonna say. And idolize people that completely denigrate the opposite gender, completely denigrate men, can be like, yeah, they're all useless, stupid, all sorts of stuff. And this person, which just because this other person's female and this person's female, they may have had like one similar experience. It's like they form this whole experience. It's like they form this whole perception just to bolster their group identity, their sense of self. Experience. they form this whole perception just to bolster their group identity, their sense of self, which at the end of the day is just hurting other people. And if you're conforming to these hateful thoughts, which you haven't even formulated yourself, then stop being so retarded. Stop thinking they're true. Every thought you have in this world has to be your own, Mr. Zupain. You're not allowed to think otherwise. No thinking. Stop thinking altogether. How about that? I'm joking. Don't listen to any of that, Zupain. They're just playing games. And just playing stuff and conforming to... Yes, it was. One message went off. To these hateful thoughts, which you haven't even figured out yourself. You're doing something wrong. I shouldn't say that. And we have to identify when we are following or pedestaling to these hateful thoughts, which you haven't even figured out yourself. You're doing something wrong. Is that bad? Saying you're doing something wrong for falling into hateful thoughts, which you are conforming to because someone else has said these hateful thoughts before? Or is that too much opinion sharing? It's a topic video. And we have to identify when we are following or we'll leave it for now, we'll look at it later. But yeah, we probably shouldn't be opinion sharing. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing anyway though. Something wrong. And we have to identify when we are following topic vids need to be complete. True. Our topic video is completely subjective. And we are following, or I do attempt to be subjective, but I'm definitely not. I think we clearly depict the right and wrong within things most of the time. Which isn't really subjective, is it? Because looking at all of this, it's like adversarial growth. There's a wrong way to go about trauma and hardship, and there's a right way. The right way will benefit you. You know it's the right way because it benefits you, and it makes you a better person, and it increases the potential within your life. You see? Judgment. Like subjective would more be like, oh, you can do this or you can do that. Doesn't really matter. You do you. Judgment, it's like, hey, you can judge people and it does this to them. It does this to you and it does this and that and all sorts of things. Or you can try and attempt no judgment, which is actually really nice and actually betters people and betters yourself, and it's like, that's not really subjective, is it? Yeah. I guess we're trying to be subjective here, but I do believe if one person is belittling and beating upon another, then it is not the right thing to pursue. I think it's not healthy for the person doing it, as much as they might perceive it to be healthy for them, as their ego gets a growth from it, it's not healthy for their innate being and their like underlying compassionate side, which needs to like prosper at least somewhere to feel that fulfillment of compassion and love. And I don't know, it's like an underlying happiness, which is demonstrated through like actually caring and looking after people, which is more than the feeling of an ego boost through belittling and beating upon other people. So people conform so much to ego and perceived self that they'll happily beat upon people all day because it makes themselves feel better about themselves, because they're covering for something which they lack or which they are trying to keep hidden. So yes, I guess it's not subjective, is it? Or pedestaling these by when we are following or pedestaling these food's gonna be here soon. Unnecessary are following or pedestaling these we get a total of 4 minutes done. These unnecessary beliefs difficult. What's difficult? Not being subjective, being subjective. When it comes to people's personal lives, we're not very directed. I don't know. Why is there even a need to think about this? It is contemplation, but I don't. You're not wrong, Zupeng. Everything's difficult. And that's why we must not expand upon it too much. That is why we must simplify and become at bliss in just looking at things rather than thinking constantly. Accept the complexities and flow with these and be interested in them and find them and learn how to diminish them and see people as people. Stop splitting society so much. So you got misogyny and misandry. Misogyny being the hate or demeaning misogyny being so you got misogyny and misandry. Okay, well my Uber is almost here, so we might need to call it Mr. Zupeng. It was only a short stream today. Oh, I am happy you were able to join us, and we had many interesting conversations about different things, which was cool and exciting and difficult. Everything is difficult, as you say. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. We got 4 whole minutes done. Wonderful work. There's only another half an hour to go. Holy, that's a lot of words, mate. Bit of a mish to edit, but we'll get through it at our own pace. Looking good so far. But thank you. Okay. Have a good day and enjoy your food. I will see as you pay. Take care and all the best to you and have an amazing sleep. See you tomorrow. Probably